Homage to the Blessed, the Noble, the Perfectly Enlightened One. I bow to the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. I respect all those teachers. Sabbapa pasa akaranang kusala supa sampata sajita prayotapanang etang buddhana sasanang. To avoid all evil, to do good, to purify the mind. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas. I pay respects to all the venerable Sangha members, the senior monks and junior monks and novices, and all my friends in the Dhamma, my fellow Dhamma practitioners. I extend my blessings to everybody here, all the lay people as well. May everybody grow in Dhamma and grow in happiness. Everybody has come here today because of our interest in Dhamma. And today we have come here, and it's an expression of our giving importance to how we live our lives. It's a way to study the way we lead our lives and develop ourselves as people who have spiritual qualities. So we've, all of us, given up our time and energy and made sacrifices in order to come here today. This meeting is an opportunity for us to come together and spend time to get to know one another and foster and further our relations. And so, in doing so, we are able to build up our wealth, or the treasure that we have inside us as human beings. Meeting together gives us the opportunity to exchange views and opinions and interact and share the knowledge and experience that we have in our lives in order to use it for our Dhamma practice. Within us, we all have the necessary basis or foundation in order to live a life of true benefit, because this human birth, this state of being a manusya, is a natural resource. It's the raw materials we have in order to live lives of value. And being human, we have the capacity to live lives of great benefit, both in this world and the next. And this capacity is nothing other than our own very human existence. But it depends on how we use this valuable resource we have, whether we actually develop it in a way which is for our benefit, whether we're able to improve ourselves and establish our lives in a way where we eliminate those negative aspects and those faults, so as to fully develop ourselves, to fully live up to our capacity, and so that our lives are of great value. And so for this purpose, one important aspect is to meet together and exchange views and thoughts on Dhamma. Because the teachings of the Buddha, which have carried down to us all through the generations, these Buddhist teachings are teachings which refer to all of us. And we have to share our views and share our thoughts. It's like we are fellow travellers meeting on the road. We are all relatives in Dhamma. We are all part of the family of Dhamma practitioners. We are also relatives in terms of our ultimate nature. We all share the same characteristics. So we shouldn't distinguish between this person and that person, one person and another, because we all share the same basic characteristics. So this idea of us having a natural resource within ourselves, or something of great value within ourselves as human beings, this idea is something which we have to give importance to and study. And if we study ourselves correctly, with circumspection, then we can use our lives in a way which is of benefit. This this quality or this aspect we have, which is a great source of a great resource within us, is not something special, other than something which lies within us, our own humanity or our own aspect of humankind. And there are two aspects or areas of a human being or of an individual. There is the material aspect, the physical form, and the mental aspect, the mind. The material body, the form, is easy to understand. It's the arising, the gathering together of that physical matter that we perceive as ourself, my body, roughly 6 feet long and 3 feet wide. This body is composed of elements and has a limited time span. One way of understanding this body, this mind and body, is dividing it into dhatus, elements. We often use the classification, the 6 elements: earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, space element, and consciousness element. And if we can understand and see ourselves as simply elements, natural elements, arising and passing away, then we won't become attached with delusion to our sense of self. We won't take our life to be us or ours, something that we own. If we do see ourselves with a sense of self, me and mine, and attached to it, giving it great self-importance, then this gives rise to delusion, wrong views, and unwholesome states. So we have to train ourselves to be one who observes, and we have to observe with a quality of knowing. Because if we look at anything without knowing, then there will be no wisdom or ease in our lives. So for this quality of knowing, being the one who knows to arise, we need to cultivate sati, which means mindfulness. Mindfulness, sati, is something which we all have naturally to a certain extent. But in order to develop it and strengthen it, it needs to be accompanied by great patient endurance, the patience and persistence to constantly observe oneself. And if we can do this, then this will give rise to a deeper understanding of the law of nature. So mindfulness means that we have to cultivate those mental states, those thoughts, which lead to a peaceful mind. A mind which is peaceful is the basis, is the foundation for all knowledge to arise and understanding. It leads away from all kinds of inappropriate or negative mental states. So mindfulness is something we need to cultivate steadily and continually. Mindfulness gives rise to what could be called an internal immune system, mental resistance. Our bodies have immunity and have strength because we feed our body with good food. And when the body is healthy, then we are able to live at ease in whatever environment we are in with no danger. And the mind is the same. With mindfulness as our tool, which is of great benefit and use. We all know that something which is of great benefit and use in life is something that can protect us and something that can keep us safe. And in life, we all experience great support and great benefit from many people, starting with those people who brought us into the world, our mother and our father. They gave us everything we needed, right from the very beginning, food and clothing. So we call our mother and father people who have been of great benefit, great usefulness to us along the way. And it's the same with the mind. The mental qualities which are of great value are sati, mindfulness, and sampajanya, clear comprehension. These two Dhammas, these two qualities, the Buddha said, are of great benefit, and they keep us away from making mistakes and dangers in our lives. And if we have mindfulness and clear comprehension, then we are able to manage our lives and deal with situations as they arise. Because as human beings, we live bound up with society. In relating to society, we have various media, various communication channels or information channels. We have an eye which sees forms. We have an ear which hears sounds. We have a nose which smells odours, and a tongue which tastes flavours. We have a body which experiences physical contact, and a mind in which all thoughts and imagination arise. So if we have mindfulness as a great mental quality we develop, this will give rise to the deeper understanding of the study of this mental realm, the realm of our minds, our thoughts, our moods and emotions. And in time we will cultivate mental well-being, mental health. If we have mindfulness and clear comprehension, we won't fall under the power of those mental states which leads to our suffering. These mental states are often called the loka dhammas, the worldly dhammas. And in order to develop mindfulness, there are many skillful means, many techniques, many principles and methods we can use. And it is something which is not beyond our capacity. These are principles and methods we can use in many different situations in our lives. So these dhammas, these mental qualities which are of great use and great value, and which we have to cultivate. It's our role, our job in life is to cultivate them and bring them to perfection, that of sati, mindfulness, and sampajanya, clear comprehension. These are things which we should use and cultivate in our daily life, in every situation, when dealing with society and the world around us. When we use our sense bases, these media, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, we have to be very careful, not overly suspicious in the negative sense, but careful and cautious in a way where knowledge and understanding can arise. We have to have mindfulness in the same way that the owner of any place or somebody who lives in a certain place has to have mindfulness. You have to be aware that sometimes people may visit your house or the place you live. These people are called guests or visitors. Some guests or visitors are friends or relatives, your mother and father. But sometimes there may be visitors who are enemies, who don't wish you well, or don't have good intentions for you. And so anyone who lives somewhere has to know very clearly who is visiting them. And it's the same with our mind. We have to know the visitors who visit our mind. These things we call the Dhamma, or the mental phenomena. Thoughts. We have Dhammas, thoughts which are wholesome, kusala, or unwholesome, akusala. And we have to learn to distinguish between the two. But whatever they are, as Dhamma practitioners, we learn to see all our thoughts as false, they're fake. Because they're things which lead to the mind not being pure and clean. So we have to cultivate a sense of caution regarding mental phenomena. Sukha, happiness, and dukkha, suffering, are experiences or thoughts which we experience every day. Delight and aversion arise based on our sense bases, based on the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, and the experiences that we experience. So the Buddha and all the enlightened masters taught us to take great care with ourselves and lead our lives in order to see the truth of life. As Dhamma practitioners, we have to develop the knowledge and understanding which has sati, mindfulness, as a foundation, and all-round circumspection. And in time we learn to see all our thoughts as just illusions, because they simply arise and then pass away. And when we see this, we can let go, because we no longer see our thoughts and our moods as something which are really true in and of themselves. We see them as false, illusions. There's no essence, there's no intrinsic heart, there's no center. Delight and aversion then won't be able to overpower us and overcome our mind. We will be above delight and beyond aversion. We see that all these thoughts, these moods of delighting and negativity, they are empty of any true essence. They're just different mental states arising and passing away. So when we understand the process of the mind like this, then peace will arise. And when there is peace, there is a sense of ease and well-being. This ease is something that everybody needs. Ease is not something that we are unaware of or we are ignorant of, but it is something we have to learn how to develop. And learn and develop it by seeing the world as it really is. We call this samadhi, right view. This gives rise to the quality of knowing, awakeness, and radiance or holiness. When there is the quality of knowing, awakening, and holiness, these are states which everybody can know and experience for themselves. It can be compared to water. We all use water, and so we have to know how to use it. We have to filter it. If water is filtered, then it's clean, and it will not be dangerous or harmful to us, and we don't have to be anxious about it. So the Buddha taught us to have a firm foundation of samvara, which means restraint. Restraint means knowing how to look after yourself, how to protect yourself in a way which is beneficial. So as Dhamma practitioners, we have to have self-knowledge, mindfulness and clear comprehension, to know the whole realm, the whole world of our thoughts and emotions, and so we don't get caught up with our thoughts or carried away by them. And as a result, freedom arises. The freedom of being free from both delight and pain, beyond happiness and suffering. This going beyond happiness and suffering is called freedom. And this is the true meaning of peace. We have bodies, but we are aloof or distant or removed from the body. And whatever contact we experience with the outside world, this doesn't give rise to delight or aversion. This is what we call citta viveka, seclusion of the mind. We see that all material things in the world are just things that we are using, and so we don't get attached to the material world. And when we are not attached, then the mind is peaceful. And this is something we can all experience for ourselves. This is the meaning of the word sukhato, an accomplished one who is always happy in whatever posture, whether standing, walking, sitting, or lying down. The mind will be cool and not hot and bothered and agitated. And so developing these are what the Buddha called the highest qualities of a manusa, of a human being, the peaceful mind. And it's something which we all have right here, right within us. And if we do lead a life of value, then we will see just how much benefit our life has been. And this will give rise to a wholesome sense of pride, a sense of well-being. And we'll know that we haven't wasted our lives. Our lives will be one of great radiance and brightness and light. So the Buddha said the most important thing is to develop oneself, to train our lives in a way which lead to the happiness of true peace and the Dhamma of liberation. And for this reason, the Buddha gave great importance to practicing Dhamma. Having mindfulness, developing mindfulness, is something which is very necessary in our lives. There's a teaching of the Buddha who said that whoever has sati, mindfulness, and is constantly observing their own mind, this person can go beyond the trap of Mara, or the snare of Mara, the embodiment of death, or all that is evil. That person can go beyond evil. And when we have mindfulness, the mind will not be hot and bothered, and so a feeling of freedom arises. The mind is not, when the mind is hot, when there's a feeling of heat in our lives, it's not because of the place. The heat is nowhere other than in our own heart. And this can be an obstacle for us. A mind or the heart which is hot. Often this is the feeling of anger, which gives rise to enmity and negativity and prejudice. This is a dangerous kind of state of mind, because the mind is not pure and clean. When the mind is clean and pure and bright, these are the qualities then which we need to cultivate and foster. And in order to do so, we have to be careful with how we lead our lives. And these qualities take care of us in our lives. We have to take care of both our body and our minds. We have to be very careful with regard both our body and our minds. So in Dhamma practice, we adapt and modify and improve our views, which gives rise to right view. When what we call right view is the mind which is bound up with a feeling of letting go, renunciation. Whatever thoughts or dhammas, phenomena, give rise to dispassion, the fading away of desire, then these are the qualities, or these are the thoughts to cultivate. In our monastic life, then we have practices which we call the Tudong Kammatthana, the way of practicing of Tudong. This word means literally the shaking off of defilements by training in austere ways. But it's all about ways of practicing for the renunciation and giving up of things like greed. And it all leads to the understanding of the truth of nature. In time, obstacles will disappear. We will understand the law of nature and the function of nature, and our views will be in line with nature. This will be called right view. And nothing will block our understanding. Nothing will be obscured from us, because the mind will have a brightness, a radiance. The Buddha said, Natti Panyasama Abha, which means there is no light as bright as the light of wisdom. In the same way that darkness is dispelled because of light, whether it's sunlight or a light which we turn on, then it's the same with wisdom. With the light of wisdom, all greed, all anger, all delusion disappears. With wisdom developed, we can become we become people who have gone beyond all obstacles and difficulties. When greed, hatred and delusion disappear, the mind is cool. The body will feel cool, and the mind will feel cool. And all the sense organs which we use to relate to the outside world, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, none of these will give rise to any dangers in our life. The eye will be cool and not dangerous. The ear will be cool and not dangerous, etc. This is what we call the happiness of peace and the Dhamma of freedom. Metta, loving kindness, and care, concern for the whole world arises naturally. These are called the Dhammas which protect the world. And this is the highest benefit that we can use our human birth for. So all of us must give great importance to seeking ourselves, finding the truth within ourselves. The Buddha said, Giccho manussa patilabho. This can be translated as difficult indeed is it to find the human birth. But it also means, it's also the Buddha's way of pointing to how valuable, how rare and important or priceless is this human birth. So being human beings in this place, we must see that this is a very favourable or fortunate condition we have, and so we have to use it well. So today I would like to express my joy and my appreciation, my well wishes to everybody, my appreciation for having this opportunity to come and meet with everybody and exchange views and offer these Dhamma reflections. Whether these thoughts, these reflections are useful or not, appropriate or not, depends on how each of us makes use of them. The Buddha spoke of the field of merit that comes from listening to Dhamma, and the field of merit arising from teaching Dhamma. So this activity here is a very wholesome and meritorious activity. The Buddha said it's always very important to listen and study the Dhamma. So I would like to express my joy and my appreciation for everybody here who's given up time and given up effort, put forth effort in order to come and listen today. I hope that everybody's Dhamma practice and the efforts that everybody is putting forth leads to great physical and mental well-being and health. May everybody here see the danger of the samsaric round, the round of becoming. And so may we all abandon all those things, all those thoughts, those mental states which are obstacles in our lives, and develop all of those things which are of great blessing in our lives.
We sincerely grateful to Ajahn Por Liem for his kind and wonderful Dhamma talk. Also, we appreciate all the Venerable Masters and bringing Dhamma coming in the city of Buddha Buddhas. Today is pretty hard, and your patience deeply appreciated. We hope we can transfer this many virtues to all human beings. About freedom.